Where are the superstars?
No, that's it. Their defense is the best defense in college football. That's what they lean on.
Well, that's not true. It's actually Ohio State.
That's why they say defense.
Ohio State's the best.
Statistically.
Statistically. See, if you
well, what do you want it to be?
I don't know.
If you play trash,
I don't know what I can
play trash.
We're bringing facts, hard numbers.
If you play trash every week, then what do you think? And don't tell me about defense when they lost to Michigan last week or 2 weeks ago.
They only held them to 13 points. Their defense was great against Michigan.
13
held them to 60 passing yards. It was the offense that was.
Well, it should have been 0. Should have been 0.
Straight to the action, there's a lot going on. Try to lock these predictions down, right? Call me John. I'ma talk to Jared, cause he might keep me calm. Had my top pick for this week, but he bombed. Caleb said he had a weak, but he's strong. Jonathan said he repeat, now it's on. In love with the game, who you got, can I wait? Drop by the dorm, come and watch, it's the babe.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dorm Debate Podcast, and welcome to a very special episode. It is a college football edition because we have a 12-team playoff for the first time in history, and we get to do a bracket. It's like college basketball, but for college football, and we wanted to get in on the action. I mean, I'm pumped to do this. We do our brackets every year for the NFL, and it's always like our biggest video. So now that college football is here, we're all big college football fans. We kind of want to get on the action. I know Caleb isn't here. Unfortunately, he's still doing finals and stuff, but he also doesn't really watch college football that much. I still would have liked to see his bracket, though.
Oh, maybe he's typically good at them.
Yeah, he is good.
He gets real lucky.
He just gets lucky.
Luck. Maybe I'll text him to fill out a bracket because I would be curious who he would pick. But let's dive in. So we have a 12-team playoff, and there are, 4 first-round games. One will be on Friday, the 20th, and then the rest will be on Saturday, the 21st. So we still got some time. But I think the best way to do this is to go by each section. So we'll go through the first round and name all your winners. Mm-hmm. Does anybody want to go first? Do you want me to go first? Thoughts on that?
I could go first.
You want to go first?
Because I think I have the least bias because you're wearing a Michigan hat and Jonathan's wearing an LSU shirt. So I think I'm the only one that doesn't have – I'm not biased towards Big Ten. I'm not biased towards SEC. So I'm going to start with the Clemson-Texas game. Texas got a pretty good draw. We all know. They're playing the worst team or the last team in Clemson. They actually are a great team, and it's not going to be an easy game because Clemson's good. They got good coaching. They have experience, right? Texas is going to win this game, guys. They're still going to win. Okay? Arizona State got a bye. Next game, Tennessee, Ohio State. Ohio State's going to win this game. I know.
Wow.
They're going to win this game. I know you guys aren't going to like it, and they still are one of the best teams in the nation. They actually have a tough draw. Tennessee's been playing really well, so I'm not super confident in that, but I do like Ohio State. Oregon has a bye. SMU, Penn State. The only reason SMU is in is because of their second half comeback against Clemson, which they still lost. Penn State's going to win this game. They impressed me against Oregon in the Big Ten championship. I think Penn State's going to win that game. They have a great tight end, best tight end in college football. They have a pretty good dual threat at running back. I think that Penn State's going to win this game because I think that the Big Ten's a little bit tougher than the ACC this year. I think that SMU got a little bit lucky to get in. Could have been Alabama. All right, now Boise State has a bye, and then Georgia has a bye. The last game, Indiana, Notre Dame. I'm going Notre Dame. I think they're playing well. I know, Jared, I know what you're going to bring up. The loss to Northern Illinois is terrible, but they are playing well. That was back in week 2, so they're playing great since then. And Indiana's been playing great as well. It's not going to be an easy game. Actually, that's probably my favorite or second favorite first-round game other than Tennessee-Ohio State. But I'm excited to watch that. I'm going with the Fighting Irish.
All right. Jonathan, you want to go or me to go?
You can go.
Okay. All right. Clemson, Texas. I got Texas. Nothing to be said there. Tennessee and Ohio State. Tennessee. It's It's real obvious that Ohio State's morale has been broken and shattered by a 7-win Michigan team. I don't know if you guys saw, but they enacted a law that you can't plant flags now on fields in Ohio. That's just really bad. I mean, Ohio's filled with these blue-collar people, and then you go and enact a law that protects a flag from being planted even though you lost. They are going to crumble. Ryan Day, after they lose this, he'll be fired relatively immediately, probably meet him on the tarmac and get him fired ASAP. The next one, SMU Penn State. I'm going Penn State. SMU is a good team, and they do have a running quarterback, and I think that'll be somewhat of a factor, but I believe in the Penn State defensive line. They're very fast. They get to the quarterback fast. I don't know if we'll be able to get out of the pocket. And that weather in Pennsylvania, it ain't like Dallas, Texas. It's not going to be sunshine and clear skies. It could be snow. Definitely going to be in the 20s and the 30s as far as temperature goes. So has he played in that? I don't think he has. And he's going to struggle. He's going to need some hand warmers. And then the next one, Indiana, Notre Dame. Yes, John, Notre Dame had that terrible loss. And I would like to represent the Big Ten. But honestly, at home, I think Notre Dame will handle Indiana. My only issue with Indiana is they had one really tough game away, and that was at Ohio State, and they blew it. They really went into Ohio, and they beat themselves. I don't think they would have won outright, but they had a chance to maybe keep it close. They muffed a punt. They had interceptions. They had turns, just uncharacteristic things of the team that we saw prior to that game. And I think in an away environment in Notre Dame, I think they're still not going to be ready. They're not going to be battle-tested in an away stadium like Notre Dame. So I'm going to go with Notre Dame for that one. So I think the only difference is I had Tennessee.
Right, yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Let me hear it.
Clemson and Texas, that's going to be a really good game. Don't get me wrong. Clemson has a dog in the quarterback in Cade Klubnik, former Texas high school football product. So he'll be playing in his hometown high school city, Austin, Texas. He's from Westlake, won several state championships there. But Texas is going to come out on top. I think it'll be a good game, but Texas will win. Arizona State has a bye. Tennessee and Ohio State. Guys, and this is where John specifically, this is where we disagree. We're talking about battle-tested. Jared used that word, battle-tested. Which teams have been battle-tested? Because now we're mixing up conferences and people are playing each other. So which conference has been battle-tested? Which conference had the toughest schedule in terms of playing each other? SEC, okay? SEC. It's pretty clear. Everyone knows this. Ohio State hasn't been battle-tested. Yes, they played Oregon. Yes, they played Penn State, but they just play each other. They all suck. I mean, I'm kind of being dramatic. They don't suck, but there's levels to this, folks. There's levels. The SEC is on a different level. Okay, if Penn State had to play Georgia, Texas, they wouldn't even be in the conversation. Ohio State, same thing. They wouldn't be in the conversation, even though they probably have the most expensive roster in college football. They still can't. They're still not on that level. They lost to Michigan. Michigan
Dude,
was
we
like
were a 6-win team.
Yeah, 6-win team.
We threw for 60 yards.
60 yards, and they still won. So if you can't beat Michigan, if you can't
It's a
beat the team you're
rivalry
supposed
game.
to beat,
It was a rivalry game.
usually Alabama's usually good every year except this year, right? In rivalry games they usually still dominate. If you're that good,
What do you mean? They lost to Oklahoma and scored 3.
That was this. I'm talking about this year. I'm talking about
That was
previous
this
years.
year. That was 2 weeks ago.
I know. I'm saying this year. Yeah, previous years though. I'm talking about when Alabama, a dominant football team. My point is, a dominant football team will usually beat the rival every year. Even though people say it's rival.
No, I'm not saying Ohio State's definitely not dominant, but they're gonna beat Tennessee.
No. If you can't beat Michigan, that's a 6-6 team.
It's dude. They have their number. What do you want them to do? They lost.
They
the last
played
3 years.
They played at the Horseshoe. They played at Ohio State, and they still lost. Oh, it's gonna be
Okay, look,
the SEC's gonna be more prepared.
Ohio State,
Tennessee's gonna be more
lost,
prepared. They're better
Ohio
coaching.
State went to Oregon, the number 1 team in the nation by far, lost by 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Penn State in Penn State. They beat Indiana at home easily, and they lost to Michigan. Okay, yeah, they probably shouldn't have lost to Michigan, but Michigan in these games, they play really well. So those 2 losses are not bad, but Tennessee lost to Georgia. Okay, that's okay. Lost to Arkansas. That's not a great loss right there. And yes, they did play other good teams in the SEC. They beat Alabama. That's solid. I just think in Ohio State, when it comes down to it, you really trust Tennessee?
I do trust Tennessee because I trust their coaching. That coaching, I've seen him over the past few years. He's the real deal from an offensive perspective. They're going to score points. Number 2, like you said, beating Bama, competing against Georgia, they're battle tested for Ohio State. Ohio State's nothing to them. It's like college football. They need to get it right. We're talking about different divisions and everybody gets a chance to be in the playoffs if they have a certain record. No, give more credits to the SEC. They play each other. That's the toughest division. The Big Ten, there's only a couple teams that are decent. Other divisions, same thing. They need to get this right because right now we have a few Big Ten teams in here that shouldn't be in here. I'm telling you, Penn State played 3 or 4 of the top SEC schools. They wouldn't be in here. Ohio State, the same thing. So you're going to see that. I think the whole world will realize that, it's not fair in terms of divisions being in. The SEC should get more, priority over other divisions. And Tennessee versus Ohio State, that'll be the first game where people will realize, oh, dang, it's actually, this is actually not comparable, right?
Do you think it'll be
Ohio
close?
State that high.
You think it'll be
It'll
close?
be a close, good game, but I think Tennessee will pull
I
away.
think the only thing that could haunt Ohio State is what Jared said, is like their morale right now is really not good. Like if it wasn't for everything going on with Michigan, I feel like they would be much bigger favorites.
Yeah, and
The
you got to look at
pressure's on them.
you got to look at the quarterback as well, because Will Howard in pressure situations so far, we can go to Oregon. He ran the ball, shouldn't have ran it, slid too late, time ran out. Then Michigan threw 2 interceptions both in the red zone. I think Will Howard is not a good pressure quarterback. Nico, we really haven't seen too much. I mean,
Not
he
too much.
did go and lose to Arkansas, and he lost games that he shouldn't, but he's super young. Will Howard is a veteran guy. He was at Kansas State for a long time, so he has the experience, but he's not a very talented quarterback. Nico is a very talented quarterback with not a lot of experience. And so when it comes to this type of thing, where you're going into an Ohio State environment, he can either fold or he can shine really well. And I think Nico can do it. He was the number 1 rated quarterback like a year ago or 2 years ago. So, I mean, he has the talent for sure. But I believe in him more than Will Howard, because we know what Will Howard is. He's not going to throw for 300 yards. And it's also a matter of Ryan Day getting out of his own way. And is he going to design plays for Jeremiah Smith? He threw to him like 4 times. I know Jeremiah Smith had a touchdown in the Michigan game, but he threw him like 4 or 5 times, and then in the second half, nothing. And so is Ryan Day going to fold under the pressure? Whenever it gets to the fourth quarter and it's close, he always folds. So
Yeah.
that's just history. With Tennessee, I haven't watched every single game, so I don't know for sure, but I do know that Ohio State, these are the trending problems, and Ryan Day doesn't win big games. They've made the playoffs before. They've lost every first round. So you got to look at that.
Games, sorry, Jared, but to win these games, you also have to be able to run the ball. Tennessee has a good running attack. They have a 1,000-yard rusher. I believe it was close to 1,500 yards, actually, in Samson. That's going to be huge. In close games like these, you have to depend on the rushing.
Yeah.
So whoever has a better rushing attack is probably going to win, which, again, Tennessee. All you have to do is play good defense, run the ball, play a clock game with them. So Tennessee's going to win that one. It's going to be close. Then bye with Oregon. Okay, SMU, Penn State. People are sleeping on SMU. Okay, people are sleeping.
I knew it
on
was coming.
SMU.
I knew
Oh
it
my
was
gosh,
coming.
dude. No.
Dallas-born guy right here.
Yes, SMU is going to upset Penn State and shock the world. Jared, John, how could you say that SMU didn't impress me, even though they had to come back? They still lost. Are you kidding me?
How did they impress you?
Clemson's a really good team. Okay,
Right. And they lost.
But it was close. No,
Dude,
okay,
Clemson let them get back. They were just trying to play good defense.
Oh, they let them come back.
Yeah, they weren't trying to run up the score and give away their plays.
Smart. That's smart.
I'm just kidding, but you know what I'm saying. They're just trying to play good defense. They weren't taking chances on offense. If they were playing how they played in the first half, they would have beat them by double.
SMU's gonna win this.
Do you remember at in college the first snow you saw and you had to walk to class? That's how that quarterback's gonna feel. You remember that, right? You were debilitated.
That's funny.
That's how he's gonna feel. He's gonna freeze up and he doesn't know what to do.
Can I tell you something? The pressure's on Penn State. They have so much pressure to win this game.
It definitely is on Penn State, but SMU going in to a freezing environment that they've never been in.
This is a playoff. In Texas high school football, people play in the cold all the time. Yes, that's snow.
What cold? 60 degrees?
No, still, this is. I think SMU is going to step up to the plate and beat Penn State. People are expecting Penn State to win, but SMU, this is a big deal. They want to prove something to the world. They want to prove to the world that hey, they belong in these same conversations. They've been irrelevant for several years. This is an opportunity to become relevant. I think they'll do it. Penn State, again, they played in the Big Ten. They didn't really face any stiff competition. Honestly, I would rank Clemson probably higher than all these Big Ten teams, to be honest with you. And SMU competed well with them. I don't think Penn State's going to be a huge challenge for SMU. SMU will win that game, believe me. Boise State by Indiana and Notre Dame.
There we go. Just clean sweep.
Notre Dame, yes. Again, we will realize y'all laughing now, but I'm telling you, the Big Ten will get exposed in this playoffs, and that's what I'm excited to see.
Okay, so you have 0 Big Ten teams winning, and you and I only agree on one thing: Texas winning. The rest we have
SEC.
opposite.
SEC. I'm telling you, SEC. Even though I'm not an LSU fan. Just on the record, I'm not an LSU fan. We went to LSU game, LSU Alabama, which was fun. And
you're not biased.
This nice jacket.
Wait, you're more of a what? Alabama fan?
I'm more of a SEC
Texas. SEC. Whoever wins that, that's who I like.
If it's Georgia, Texas in the finals, he's like, I just want SEC to win.
No, you have a Texas jersey. You're a Texas guy. UT.
Okay, I'm a Texas guy. I lean towards Texas these days.
Yeah, you lean towards Texas. Yeah. Well, SMU would be cool to win that because they got the death penalty back in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah,
and so it's pretty impressive that they have gotten this far to be able to make the first 12-team playoff. Yeah. But okay, so we kind of debated, so I think we should go to the next round. John, you want to start with the Texas-Arizona? So Chick-fil-A, Peach.
Texas plays Arizona State. It's going to be probably a blowout. Texas is going to win that game. Arizona State, even with a bye, they're not good enough. I don't know. I didn't actually check, but their leading receiver didn't play in the championship game for the Pac-12. But without him, they were a lot worse.
Scattaboo.
Either way, Scattaboo, the running back, he thinks he's the best in college football, but I think Gentry's better. Anyway, Texas got that. Next, Oregon, Ohio State. Oregon's the best team in the nation right now. They're going to win that. Penn State, Boise State. I love Gentry. I love watching him play. Reminds me of Kamara. I'm going to take Penn State to win this. I think that Penn State's going to win. Yes, I think that they're going to shut down Gentry, and I think that Penn State will win that game. And then Notre Dame, Georgia.
Don't you say. Don't you. Oh, my.
Whoa.
Yep, you saw it right. The
Wow.
Fighting Irish, guys. They will beat Georgia. Carson Beck's not playing how he should. He probably isn't going to play at all based on what I saw. Backup quarterback. The defense isn't going to be good enough. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Guys, Notre Dame is going to the college football playoff semifinals.
That's huge. That is a huge statement.
Dude, that was like Lee Corso pulling out the headgear.
Yeah.
When did you buy that? Yesterday?
Yeah,
Did you Amazon Prime that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's hilarious. Wow.
The Irish representing my true Ireland pride here.
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
Actually,
That's amazing.
it works. It literally fits you perfectly.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Wow. Okay. I go in a second, right? Okay.
Yep.
Texas versus Arizona State. I got Texas, as much as my heart wants to go with Arizona State so bad. I really think I'm not going to reveal my champion, but it seems like Texas is what I said before, battle tested. They got the seniors, the experienced quarterback. They have everything that you need to win the championship. And this Texas team would be a team that would make like the top 4 in previous years. So just by looking at them at the eye test, it's like I just don't see it. A first time in the playoffs, the youngest head coach in college football with Arizona State. It'd be very impressive for them to take down this veteran-built Texas team. So I'm going to go Texas. Tennessee, Oregon, which is what I had. I have Oregon. Not really much to say there, but I just believe that when you go undefeated, you're not going to really balk at a Tennessee team that's pretty new to the playoffs as well. Penn State, Boise State. I'm going to go with my heart here, Boise State. I really want to see Genty. We've seen him play against Oregon. He played relatively well, but, he did play in the Mountain West, and there's just a lot of easy teams there. And I kind of want to see him against more tough opponents. So hopefully he can win against Penn State. And Penn State's got a great defense. I know you can say everything you want about the Big Ten, Jonathan, but the Big Ten has good defenses, and Penn State has great defense because Big Ten's very low-scoring games. So that's a great defense, and then I want to see him again in the semifinals against another great defense in Notre Dame. Notre Dame will beat Georgia.
No way.
Look, I am not a big Notre Dame fan at all. I'm a Michigan fan. I despise them. And I do think that they suck because they lost to Northern Illinois. But Georgia does not have a quarterback. I'm treating it as if they don't have a quarterback. That guy did not play well at all. They only scored 16 points. It looked like he could only run. Carson Beck does not look like he's going to play. It looks like it's an injury similar to Brock Purdy where he might need surgery. I just can't take a Georgia team with a backup. I just can't. I can't do it. So, it pains me, but yeah, Notre Dame is going to take the win over Georgia.
Very interesting by both of you. Okay. Well, Texas, Arizona State. Texas, not really much to comment on there. Tennessee versus Oregon. You guys must be on something.
Oh my
Tennessee's going to win this. Oregon is going to get exposed. Oregon
Why?
will lose. They haven't been battle tested.
Oh my!
What?
They
They beat Ohio State. They
Ohio
beat
State,
Penn State.
Boise
Big Ten.
State.
Easy.
These are playoff
Boise
teams.
State. These are easy teams.
Oh my!
Okay.
If you have
The SEC's
Boise
on here.
State, if you have Boise State beating SMU, then Oregon
Beat a top four.
beat a top 4
Yeah, Boise
team.
State will beat SMU. I have that. Yeah, you're right. I have Boise State beating SMU. That's Boise State's on a different level. Okay, they'll beat SMU. But Tennessee's gonna beat Oregon. Okay. You guys are so funny. Notre Dame versus Georgia. Y'all pick Notre Dame. Really? Really? Guys, Georgia has won multiple championships over the past few years. You think they're just dependent on one player? No,
Yeah,
those are
it's the
great teams.
quarterback.
Yeah, that's the.
no.
It's
most
the
important.
quarterback. If he
No.
showed any
They
inkling of greatness, then maybe I would pick him. But all he can do is run. He can't throw.
No, let me tell you this. They were that injury was a bit unexpected for Georgia, so they had it just on the fly and didn't really have a good game plan. They have, they have a few weeks to prepare for the next game. They're coming in with a running attack. Georgia usually produces pretty good running
Trevor
backs.
Etienne
Look at-
Jr.
Yeah, exactly. Look at the running backs over the years. They usually
Yeah, they are
produce good
going to
running
run
backs.
it a lot.
They're going to run the ball a lot and run it well. They have great linemen that will knock you out. They have great defense, obviously.
That's going to be
Georgia's gonna win
enough.
this. They're going to find
That's
a different way.
be enough.
Yeah, it's going to be enough.
To beat a
This is Kirby
complete
Smart.
Notre Dame team who has Riley Leonard at quarterback who can run and also throw.
Ryan Leonard
From Duke.
the guy that Duke, yeah, he's the one who wanted the teacher to give him an extension on his homework. I don't know if y'all saw that video.
What?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, that was at Duke. Well, guys, I even forgot about Riley Leonard. I've seen him play this year. He's not it. He's not it. He's gonna lose. He's not a championship level quarterback in my eyes. Georgia's gonna win this game. Kirby Smart is a bit more experienced coach. This is when you'll see who the true coaches are. Nick Saban retired, obviously. Kirby Smart, he's like the next in line.
I agree.
He's gonna show you that, hey, I'm a better coach than you. Even though my quarterback's hurt, we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna
But
play
what
defense.
can you?
We're gonna get turnovers and
Your
score.
hands are tied behind your back with no quarterback. Like,
Just run the ball. That's it. And throw it a couple times. Just
I mean,
run that. They're gonna-
Michigan did win with 60 passing yards, so
exactly. Anything's possible.
yeah, but that's Ohio State. They're
But
stupid.
We're talking about Notre Dame. We haven't seen any. They haven't done anything
what do you mean?
flashy
They've
this year.
beat
They lost
every
to North Illinois.
team. They've beat every team by at least 20 in the last since before Halloween.
What about
Since
this,
before
what about,
September.
what about this unheard of team called Northern Illinois? See what I'm saying, guys?
That was
Georgia wouldn't lose
that
to
was the
Northern
second week. Nobody's trying in that.
Illinois. Georgia's been battle tested. They lost to They lost to who did they lose to? They lost to Alabama.
Alabama.
Okay. They lost to. I mean, God, they basically lost to SEC teams. Okay, and the SEC.
Georgia?
We all know the SEC is tough.
Oh yeah, Georgia.
They
Georgia lost
They
to
got killed. They got
Ole
killed
Miss.
by Ole Miss.
Yeah, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Yeah, exactly.
And Ole Miss sucks.
No, he won't
It's
admit
a
it.
SEC,
Okay.
right?
How many?
Okay,
how many,
so wait.
how many games did Carson Beck have multiple interceptions?
How many passing yards did he have? See what I'm saying? You have to. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Of course,
can't
he's
win.
expected to have more interceptions. But look
He
at the
had
passing yards,
multiple
over
games
3,000.
of 0 touchdowns and multiple interceptions. Like 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
But he was able to move the ball, and like again, we don't know if he's going to play. I think the key
You
to
better,
this thing is
you
running
better
attack.
hope. You better hope that you keep Notre Dame to under 20 because there's no way Georgia's scoring 20.
Yeah.
There's no way Notre Dame is scoring. Guys, I've seen
I
Notre
think
Dame
Notre
play
Dame
this
has
year.
a better
They're
chance
nothing
to score 20 than Georgia.
but- Look, I like the coach. I like the guy. I like the team. I hope they do well, but they're not going to
Can
win this
you
game. It's not
can
even
you
close.
just reiterate your Final Four, please?
Yeah. So Georgia,
SEC,
Boise State,
Mountain West,
Tennessee,
SEC,
and Texas.
and SEC.
So 3 out of the 4.
How
are
in the
SEC.
world are you preaching conferences and you put a Mountain West team in the Final Four?
they had a great path. Penn State's going to lose. Penn State's going to be the reason for this.
You're just
So-
a Big Ten hater.
No, I'm not a Big Ten hater.
Yes, you are. You are. And Big Ten, as
guys,
far as you're concerned, Big Ten went 0-4 in this playoff.
I'm able to see the imposters, just like NFL. Look at 49ers. I saw the imposters in the second or third game. You're like, guys, you know what? They're Super Bowl caliber. I was like, guys, no. They're the imposters, and look at them now. I'm good at recognizing imposters. Big Ten, all of them right now in this year are imposters, including Oregon. You said, John, you're like, oh, they're truly number one team. No, they're not.
How
You're gonna see that.
they're the only team that was undefeated, and it was a
Yeah, see, don't see. That's what I'm saying. Y'all talking about undefeated. Look at they play the Big Ten.
that's better than the Mountain
before
West. It's
And
better than Mountain West.
You think Boise State's going further than Oregon?
It's an easier
You're
path.
crazy.
Look at the path. They got lucky. Sometimes you get lucky in paths. They got easier path. Look at the Giants when they won the Super Bowl. They had an easy path. I mean,
What do you mean? We beat the Patriots and they were undefeated.
that was the actual Super Bowl. But getting there, it was.
We were the wild card team. We had to play on the road
I know what I'm
every
saying.
game.
That's what I'm
Twice.
saying. I know. So I'm saying when I say easier path, I'm talking about easier teams to go through. See what I'm
What?
saying?
Dude, do you realize what wild card means? You have to play the best. That was the worst reference I ever heard in my life.
No, that team it wasn't that competitive that year. You know it. It wasn't that competitive in the
The
NFL.
Cowboys sucked. You're right.
Probably did. So that's my point. The
Okay,
imposters.
all right,
You remember that word.
all right,
Okay.
all right. Jesus. Okay, so John, reiterate your Final Four.
My Final Four is Texas, Oregon, Penn State, and Notre Dame.
Okay, I have Texas, Oregon, Boise State, and Notre Dame.
I have Texas.
Yeah, I know,
Tennessee,
Jonathan.
Boise
We
State,
already
and
said.
Georgia.
Get out of here. Get out of here with your SEC. Okay, so John, go through your Final Four and then your national championship.
All right, Texas, Oregon. It's going to be a great game. I'm going to agree with Jonathan that Texas is more battle tested than Oregon. Oregon did play well versus Penn State, but they didn't win by much. They played well versus Ohio State, only won by 1. So the games that the close games, like they're good games, they're good wins, were close. Like they didn't blow anybody out that was a good team. 13-0, you kind of would have liked to them to get a loss before the college football playoff because now they're playing with a lot more pressure. Mm-hmm. Texas is legit, guys. They are seriously good. Texas is going to beat Oregon in the semifinals and move on to the national championship. Then we got the Orange Bowl. We got Penn State and Notre Dame. I have a lot of respect for Penn State, but when it comes time for this game, they're not going to be ready for it. Notre Dame is going to the college football championship against Texas. And then in the national championship game, Texas is going to beat Notre Dame and win the national championship.
Take the hat off now. Take it off. Oh, man.
Disrespect at the last
Where's the
second.
Texas hat?
Yeah, I know. Where
you got to commit to the bit.
I Amazon Primed it, but it didn't get here in time.
I wish you pulled out like the mascot helmet and put it over the...
God. Put it on top. Dude, if I was rich, I would. I'm not made of money.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. Wow. So...
well, I have the orange shirt.
You do, yeah. That's actually pretty good. Okay. So Texas, Oregon. This, as far as I'm concerned, is the national championship. I think these have been the top 2 teams for probably the whole season, to be honest, and I've been waiting for this matchup. Oregon's facing a veteran Texas team facing a veteran Oregon team. I mean, you go quarterback to quarterback, receiver to receiver. I mean, it is so close. And so for me, this is really the national championship. And I think what's going to happen is Oregon's going to come out on top. A couple reasons why. Dylan Gabriel playing better than Quinn Ewers right now. Quinn Ewers, I was not impressed with that SEC championship. That's number 1 when I compare quarterbacks. Number 2, I really like Dan Lanning over Steve Sarkisian. I know Sarkisian has the offensive mind. No, I get it, Jonathan. He has the offensive mind. He makes amazing plays, draws up plays well. But Dan Lanning, I believe they have been thinking about this since last year. They lost 2 games last year. Both were to Washington. Washington ended up being in the national championship, losing to Michigan. But that was the only team they lost to, and it was so close. I think each loss was within 3 or 7 points. They were so close. Just 2 losses to one team, and they could have been in the playoff last year. This year, they went and got Dylan Gabriel, veteran quarterback, receiving core, extremely good. And this team is built to win. They beat a playoff team, Boise State. They beat another playoff team, Ohio State. They are ready to go. And Dan Lanning does not play lightly with games. There's no way that Texas is going to come out faster than him or they're going to come out better than him. It's going to be very close, and it'll come down to the wire. But to me, I'm on the Dan Lanning train, man. He hypes me up. He gives pregame speeches like no tomorrow. And Dylan Gabriel is playing better right now. I have to take it for what it is. Quinn Ewers probably will have a great NFL career. But Dylan Gabriel, right now, with all the receivers, with Tez Johnson, everybody is playing better. And don't forget that run game. Their run game for Oregon is sneaky good. I realized that in the Big Ten championship game. Boise State versus Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. The Cinderella story stops here for Ashton Genty. Notre Dame does make it, and it's terrible. I hate saying that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they lose it to Indiana, but They just got an easy path. I don't know what to say. I mean, you face an Indiana team that's fairly new to winning. Then you face a Georgia team without a quarterback. And then you face Boise State, a Mountain West team who does have a great running game. But what else do they got? So they just had an easy path. I feel like they just waltzed right into the national championship to face Oregon. And Oregon's going to absolutely destroy them. They're going to absolutely destroy them. I think they're going to win by 28 points. 35 points. It won't be close. There is a separation, like Jonathan talks about, with certain teams. And Notre Dame, for one, they're too new. They're too new. They play independent, so they don't face a lot of great opponents this year. They lose at home to Northern Illinois. There are just things that you see they're not a veteran team, and they're just not a team that is well coached. And when things happen like that, where you get upset by a team, what was a 28-point underdog at home, that's on the coaching staff. So you can see the coaching isn't ready. You can see the players aren't ready. It's a different level. Oregon is on a different level. This is a 2-year mark right now. You got to look to last year and then into this year. They've been waiting for this, and Dan Lanning's not going to let it go. And I believe he's a Nick Saban disciple. He was at Alabama, so the guy knows how to win. And this is going to be. He turned down the Alabama job, and Oregon's going to be a powerhouse for a long time. We're going to be talking about it just like Georgia. They might go back to back. They might win 3 or 4. Like, Dan Lanning's here to stay. Marcus Freeman, you haven't proved anything to me. You were just a defensive coordinator for Notre Dame, and you got bumped up because of Brian Kelly leaving. So coaching and all the players and everything, it's going to be a absolute murder fest. Think of Georgia TCU.
That's funny. That's real funny. Interesting, guys. Well, here's what I have. Texas versus Tennessee. That's going to be a really good game. SEC versus SEC, okay? But I think Texas will be able to get out on top for that one as well. Then Boise State versus Georgia. Like you said, the Cinderella story ends there for Boise State. Mm-hmm. This is when the big dogs come out, the real champions. Georgia's going to win and go to the championship.
So, wait, hold on. You think Texas and Georgia are going to meet for a third time?
Exactly.
Dude.
Exactly.
Come on.
And the third time is a charm. Texas will finally be able to figure it out and beat Georgia. They lost. It was a little close the first time they played, but they still lost by a good margin. Second time, by 1 point, last second, field goal, whatever. Okay, great. This time, Texas is going to be able to squeak through and finally figure out. Steve Sarkisian and the boys will be able to figure it out. And, Jared, I just laugh. You're talking about Oregon and all that, how great they are.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in karma. Remember that video after they beat Colorado, or before they beat Colorado, saying, what?
This is played on the grass.
Games are won. Games are won on the grass.
Yeah.
Saying all that stuff.
And then they blew them out. They blew them out.
If you notice something, the coaches that talk a lot like that, they really aren't good. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles coach. Sirianni's on the hot seat. Even though his team's talented, he's not that great. Lanning, I view him the same way. He's not that great. The reason they've been so good, the reason he didn't go to Alabama, he knows that himself. He knows he's not the best coach. There'll be more pressure on him at Alabama. Oregon, they have the money to get all these recruits. Last year, Bo Nix, it was like a 6th year.
Yeah.
This year, Dylan Gabriel is in his like 5th or 6th year. See what I'm saying? Don't you see a trend here? It's not like they're a dominant team. They get the most experienced quarterbacks out there. So I think they're going to find a way to do that. Actually, I've been hearing rumors that Quinn Ewers may not go to the NFL. He may return another year.
To a Big Ten school.
Texas, yeah, exactly. Texas wants to move on to Arch Manning this year. Okay. They want to move on. Quinn Ewers would have to go. And so, I heard he's an offer from a Big Ten school. Mm-hmm. Could that be Oregon? I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
That's what they've been doing.
Yeah,
they can afford the most experienced quarterbacks. That's why they've been good. It's not a powerhouse team. The coach is not doing anything great. The most experienced quarterbacks come in there.
Yeah, but wait, hold on. You just said that Oregon just gets the most experienced quarterbacks. That's why they're good. But then you say Georgia has a fresh, no quarterback, but it's all about coaching. Quarterback doesn't matter. Like, which one is it?
Well, it depends what coach Kirby Smart, he's on a different level. So his coaching can, his coaching, with his coaching, they can win. They can find a way to win with his good strategy. Lanning's not the same way. I've seen him. He's not the same way.
Dan Lanning.
Yeah. He's a great
How many
motivational
games has he
speaker,
lost at
Sirianni,
Oregon? He couldn't have lost more than 5 games as an Oregon coach.
There's levels to this, buddy. There's level. You'll see that. There's levels to this.
And Oregon is not on that level after going 11-2 last year, and then this year going undefeated. He's 35-5 overall as a head coach. That's incredible.
Why? Y'all are just looking at the records, man. Don't look at the records, man. Look at who they play, man.
Okay, they beat Boise State, playoff team. They beat Ohio State, playoff team.
Penn State.
They went undefeated, which nobody else did. Nobody else did. Nobody could do it, though. Not even a Mountain West team. Not even a Sun Belt team. Not even an AAC team. Not even an ACC team could go undefeated.
If Georgia was in the Big Ten, they would be undefeated. If Texas was
the facts right now,
Big
Jonathan, there are more Big Ten teams in the playoffs than the SEC.
Because of the record, they all suck. All the teams suck. And
who cares? They made it.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Oh my God! If
that's not fair.
If Boise State was in the Big Ten, you wouldn't have them winning. But you have in the Mountain West. Oh, they're going to the next round.
Like you said, they have an easier path.
Boise State.
Yeah, Penn State. They're going to beat Penn State.
So Penn State has had a easier path than Boise State. Just want to get that.
I didn't know. No. Penn State, the reason they're going to lose, they have a lot of pressure on them. They haven't been battle tested. Boise State's been battle tested.
No, that's just
Boise State.
Boise State
doesn't make sense.
Also, this. Let me tell you this. In these playoffs, that's when the superstars come out. Teams with the superstars, that's when they shine because it's gonna be difficult in the game. You're gonna need somebody to break through. Ashton Genty's gonna do that.
Okay, so what superstar does Georgia have?
Huh?
What superstar does Georgia have to get them to the championship?
It's called defense.
Oh, okay.
They're the best defense in college football.
Where are the superstars?
No, that's it. Their defense is the best defense in college football. That's why. That's what they lean on.
Well, that's not true. It's actually Ohio State.
That's why they say defense.
Ohio State's the best.
Statistically.
Statistically. See, if you
what do you want it to be?
Know.
If you play
trash,
we're bringing trash, hard numbers.
If you play trash every week, then what do you think? And don't tell me about defense when they lost to Michigan last week. Or 2 weeks ago.
They only held them to 13 points. Their defense was great against Michigan. Held them to 60 passing yards. It was the offense that was.
Well, it should have been 0. It should have been 0. It's 6-16.
You have no respect for Michigan.
Georgia has the best defense. That's what you lean on. Okay, so guys,
wait, can you reiterate who your champion is? I forgot.
My champion is Texas.
Over Georgia.
Texas will beat over
so
Georgia.
Georgia has beat them twice.
Yes.
And the first time,
this will be
I think Georgia had like 9 sacks on the day.
Yeah.
Then this time coming around, did they win in overtime? Or was that in regulation?
Oh, you're right. It was overtime.
So it was 22 to 16.
Very, very close. Yeah. And Texas did improve because when John and I were talking about Texas, Georgia, he's like, I think Texas might get it done. And then I was like, the only thing I'm worried about is when I watched that first matchup, that Texas offensive line got murdered so much that they put in Arch Manning to see if it would make a difference, and he was getting murdered. So it didn't really help. Yeah, right. Then the first matchup comes, and then the second time comes around, much improved, but the backup does come in. It's a close game, blah, blah, blah. So now you think third time around, Sarkisian is like, I know what to do. He's going to try and outsmart Kirby Smart and beat him for a third time? Yeah. Or do you think Kirby is going to be the better coach, which you said he's a better coach right now. So Kirby, he can't out-coach Sarkisian with all the players that they have?
I didn't say he's a better coach than Sarkisian. The teams he's
You just said he's the next Nick Saban.
Yeah,
I said he's on path to becoming that way. But Steve Sarkisian,
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know what your story is. I just don't know.
Steve Sarkisian, he's also up there for now. He's also up there. So I'm not saying you're gonna like Kirby Smart in general.
Kirby's got 2 natties, by the way.
He's 2 natties. Okay, but let me tell you this, Jared.
I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you.
I'm telling you this. The last game, it was that close, right? So that comes down. When it's that close, it comes down to luck, a little bit of luck here and there. I believe Texas will get lucky enough this next game, fix enough things this next game to be able to beat Georgia. And then, yeah, dude, Sarkisian, he's also a really good coach. So I'm not gonna separate him and
Okay.
Kirby Smart, even though he's won two natties, Steve Sarkisian is still getting.
He is becoming a good
Nobody
coach,
else,
but
no other coach in the college football playoff is like that. That's what I'm saying. No other college football coach in the college football playoff is like Steve Sarkisian and Kirby Smart. They're two like levels higher than many people.
So do you both have Texas?
Yes.
So Texas for Jonathan, Texas for John, Oregon for me. Last question before we sign off to both of you. I want to put a scenario that was similar to Alabama back when they had Tua and they had Jalen Hurts. Alabama started Jalen Hurts. The first half goes by. They're losing. Jalen Hurts isn't playing well. He throws in Tua, and they win the game in overtime against Georgia. You can each go. Do you think at halftime, say in the Natty, maybe in some of these other playoff games, if they're down maybe 14-21 at half, do you see them actually turning to Arch Manning if Quinn Ewers continues to play bad?
Oh, yeah.
You think so? You think they'll flip?
They already use him, even if he's healthy and Ewers is starting. They even use Arch Manning to run it and maybe come in for a pass play or two. Yeah. So I think there's no doubt if halftime comes around and Sark and the coaching staff don't like how the game's going. Now, I think that it probably won't have to happen until the Oregon game at the earliest, because Clemson and Arizona State are pretty easy, in my opinion. So maybe against Oregon, but I think they'll just continue to use both. I don't think they'll have to, but I think they're willing to.
Yeah, like they're not gonna sit there, like if they're losing, they're not gonna sit there and lose without at least trying to Arch.
Yeah.
And so I mean, they like John said, they like to use them anyway. But yeah, they're not gonna sit there and Quinn Ewers is playing bad. They're not gonna sit there and let them. Like even that's what happened in high school. We had a couple of quarterbacks. Even though like the starting quarterback was that guy, he was a senior. There was a freshman quarterback that was pretty good. The coach put the freshman quarterback in towards the end when he was like, okay, I'm going to at least try to see if he can get me in this game. Mm-hmm. He didn't. He was a freshman, but still, he knew he was that good to be able to try. So the same thing's going to happen. But yeah, they'll use him anyway. And I think Arch Manning will score a couple more touchdowns in this college football playoff. So we'll see.
Okay, well, so we got 2 Texas picks and 1 Oregon pick. This was very telling for everybody. So I think, John, you had one of the best brackets. I think that was the best, least biased bracket you could make. I would love to see John, as in not Jonathan.
Oh,
he said thank you as if I was.
He said thank you.
As if I was saying your bracket wasn't biased.
It's not biased.
Oh,
hey,
dude, can you just admit
it's okay? I mean,
no,
it's okay.
Guys,
it's fine. I don't care.
It's not biased. I have no
mind.
I have no dog in this fight. This is all
yeah, you
analytics.
do. You just said you have the SEC in the fight.
No. I was kidding. This is all analytics.
Analytics.
Yeah, this is we're watching the film, analytics, and
But right when we bring up the statistical probability, the stats of the Ohio State defense being better than Georgia, you don't want to hear about stats.
Yeah, because you have to look beyond this.
Okay.
In some cases, you do.
Okay. You know what? I'm just going to turn to you for every question I have. And
right, please.
Oh, man. Well, for one thing, this is going to be probably the most exciting college football playoffs we've seen, because in years prior, I mean, it's been exciting, but you feel like those underdog teams that were in it, like Cincinnati and all those, like, they didn't really have a shot because they were playing a top team. But now Boise State plays a Penn State or SMU. I mean, we're going to be able to see a Mountain West team actually compete, and that's what I'm excited about. It's all about Cinderella stories in college basketball. We need one for college football. Hopefully that happens. But thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us over on TikTok and on Instagram at Dorn Bay Podcast. Thank you guys again. And as always, we will see you guys next week.